for your cooperation. Okay. Brett Roberts and Martini Mason to see Ian Hopkirk. Brett Roberts and Martini Mason. Just a little bit of advice. Tama Near and Adam Broush, those two shearers, are going to represent the North Island. We've had a lot of overlook. The referee says we're okay to go. We have the magic light in the computer room shining for us. A wee bit of a talk to the paid staff. A lot of lines of sheep, ladies and gentlemen, to contend with. Our wool handlers have got to be very nimble. Okay, green light on, gentlemen. Can we have you on the board, please? Stands 5, 4, 5 and 6. You wouldn't want to get penalised for starting with it while you're inside the pen. Oh, who you got your money on? The local man, come on. Woolie's putting the pressure on. Let's have you. You are fine athletes. You will be able to get it off. Doesn't matter how much you stare at them over the pen door. Nathan Stratford. Okay, we're ready to go, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to set this one alight. We've got timekeepers ready. Judges ready. Competitors, go. Whoa, Troy Piper, he almost hurdled that pen as he goes in for one of these grey looking sheep. They start off grey, ladies and gentlemen, but they turn them into pinky white as they go down the valley on these Ranfurly weathers. Been up here for a little while just acclimatising. They're full-bodied sheep. Like crikey, there's a plenty of size in them. If they sit nicely, they can be easy to shear. If they don't, they can be real ignorant and tough. First neck, let's see who's got the best merino out first, because that neck can be quite difficult. Oh, good straight blow up there from David Buick. He says a little bit more work from Johnny Kay around the top. He's got one that's going to make him work, this fella. Angus Moore's got a good shot on. He's shorn a few of these in the top of the South Highland. Nathan Stratford down from the deep south, round the back of the head, high quality guy. They all want to drive away in that Santa Fe that they've been loaned to them by our sponsors. Down into the first off shoulder goes Nathan Stratford, but Andy, look at it down there, Troy Piper, into the long blow he goes. He's doing it easy, dropping into the off shoulders. Tony Costa, he is a very experienced man. He's won this event on several occasions, but here on the front stand, it's the local Pongaroa man coming over the top first, sweeping away, and you're bound to hot and holler him. He's got a lot of work tonight. Over the shoulder for Stratford on stand number 4, Johnny Kirkpatrick from Napier. He's been around Masterton for a little while. He's a lovely man. He's won the Golden Shears here several times, but this is a whole new season. Johnny Kay down the last side. Troy Piper out the last leg. Tony Costa down there, but it's going to be the Buick man going Tuma, how did it look from your end on Dr. Costa?
Dr. Costa down here, he's pinked that big baby up, and he goes again. We've got Nathan Stratford on stand number 4, finishing touches. Troy Piper, he has got speed to burn. Here he goes, Belly comes flying out on stand number 5. Nathan Stratford runs in for another little one, as does Angus Moore. Johnny Kirkpatrick, he's had his shoulder reconstructed in the last year, and he's coming back bigger, badder and better than ever there, Graham.
Yeah, thanks there, Tuma. Yeah, Johnny Cave working really hard on this second merino, and there's lots and lots of work to do, ladies and gentlemen. You watch them when they go up the neck, you'll see their hand do this big swirly wave motion. Take a look at Johnny K here and I'll explain what's going on. There's a huge big wrinkle under there, big wrinkle of skin that you can't get tangled up in at any time or stage in your shearing career, and definitely not here in a Golden Shears final. Look at him swirling his way up there, ladies and gentlemen. Breaks it clear so you can see where he's going now, but it's your man. He's going to lift you off your seats tonight, I can know that. David Buick away on the long blow. Let's go down. Who's down there? Nathan Stratford. Unfortunately, Nathan Stratford's not in the big final here, but he has won this event before, ladies and gentlemen, 2 years ago, and he enjoyed driving around in that Hyundai Santa Fe for a whole year, and he has the ability here tonight to leave everything up there as he's hooking into his second big merino weather. Around the corner of the face he goes, and Troy Piper of course spent 2 or 3 years in Australia, and they are seriously wrinkly over there, so he knows how to get around these two, and he's travelled a long way to be here, and he's pumped up, literally pumped up. He's got a couple of shears. It's a real big night for him. And then, as John said, we've got the master of this event, Tony Costa. He's run it 4 times before tonight, and he's going for number 5, ladies and gentlemen. He's about to take the front. Get in behind your man, John. It's getting exciting.
Oh, out the last leg for Troy Piper there as he comes across. Sweeping blows, a little bit of trouble on that sheep earlier on, but he's settled into it nicely. Tony Costa down the belly, sitting it nicely, sitting it on the side of the rump and not on the bone. Buick still out in front though, he's thrown the belly wide. Costa throws the belly wide. Johnny K steps in, folds that merino out. This is the last one, this one's a bit smaller for him. Maybe he might be able to get it round a bit quicker. In goes Angus Moore from Tangata. Ooh, he loves it up over the tail. There's Nathan Stratford off for the top knot. Troy Piper's drifting off the pace a little bit. The pace still on the front. No, it's not. It's down on number 6 at the moment. Stepping up the neck, just poking around to the side so he gets away from the wrinkle. Poked a little bit of a sharp horn. You don't want to drive your comb into that horn. You'll break the tip of it. Ooh, he's losing now. Shifting his sheep with every blow as he drops to the offside of the sheep. The judge's got to bend down to make sure he's not making any second cuts. Looking hard. They'll be taking any second cuts to the wool fibre. We want that fibre as long as possible so we can earn the maximum export dollars for it. Here we go, Angus Moore around the back of the head. Swooping, just moving along. You watch, young shearers. Learn something from these experts at the trade. Johnny K down into the first off shoulder. The sheep is not quite as good as it perhaps should be. He's dropping down into the long blow. He's having to punch hard on this one, but he's picked up David Buick. Down there on front, it's Costa down and out to the flank on the last merino. Then he'll go into the Corridales. Rousey, the wool handlers there, are making the job look easy as they shift this expert Sean Sheep, but Tony Costa's out the last leg, $12 a kilo. Tony says I want for that wool as he changes. He's going to drop into the handpiece on there, Tuma, and get into those half-breeds.
He certainly does. Dr. Costa's in for sheep number 4, and it's a Corridale. It's a little beauty. Here we go. Watch him fly. Nathan Stratford, he's second to finish. He's a dangerous man to be this close, as is the Troy Piper from Winton. Out the belly comes on stand number 6. These lovely little Corridale ewes. Come on, Dr. Costa. We got the David Buick down there. That merino's just holding him up a little bit. Johnny Kirkpatrick's picked him up, as is Angus Moore. But here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Watch all these shearers get into these lovely little Corridale ewes. Up the neck goes Nathan Stratford. Troy Piper driving that handpiece in, and up the neck he goes as well. Johnny Kirkpatrick, change a handpiece for him. David Buick, come on, Masterton, get him behind this young man. He's a local David Buick, and he goes for his Corridales. David Buick, he's got speed to burn. Come on, David Buick. Dr. Costa down here on stand number 6. Over the shoulder he works. These shearers, they're only allowed 3 handpieces, aren't they, Gerald?
Oh yeah, they've got all sorts of gear up there. They've got their whole toolbox with them. Buick, there is plenty of time, ladies and gentlemen. Did you take a note? He didn't panic. He didn't chuck the towel when he thought, I've got time up my sleeve. I'll haul these boys in these Coraldales and the second chair and these full wool. And then, of course, the Lambos will have wool hanging off the light shades. A bit of showmanship. But here we are. It's a stratosphere. Stratty, this is a dangerous place for the other shearers because Nathan Stratford wins show after show after show, year after year from a sheep down in the final, ladies and gentlemen. He is super clean. I'm always very concerned the wool will never grow back, but it seems to. That's how clean he is. Down he goes now. Up the undermine, 1, 2, but we've got Tony Costa. He says if you want that car, you're going to have to work really hard for it. And if you want my trophy and my ribbon, and that's what I'm calling it with all the times I've won this event, you're going to have to bring your A+ game. Look at the crowd, they're starting to get into it. Go Buick, I hear. David Buick responds with a big throw and just breaks that belly clear of the fleece and the belly wool. Now he starts coming. Shift your attention down the front here. David Buick has got the bit between his teeth, John, and he fires one big blow, and now the sun hat comes off.
Well, he's going to have to work hard, but by golly, look at the guys down on 5 and 6. Sheep number 6 on the board for Tony Costa. Troy Piper's coming down there. Finishing touches to sheep number 5. The finishing touches to Nathan Stratford. Just check those numbers. I didn't think Buick was that far behind. Into the long blow he goes. Round the back of the head comes Tony Costa, and facing away from the crowd at the moment, and he's last of his long wools. Troy Piper's got number 6 on the board as well. Here goes Nathan Stratford for number 6. Over the top comes Johnny Kirkpatrick on the middles. And here on stand number 2, out the last leg comes a youngster, Angus Moore. He's shearing right within himself. He'll let the brakes off shortly. Sheep number 6, he's 3/4 off the pace. Buick's got a bit of a wobble. He's got a flat tyre perhaps, and he needs to get a change quickly. Out the last leg he goes. One more long wall of these Coraldales to go for him. Here goes Johnny Kirkpatrick in for number 6, but Tony Costa down the far end. He's making a no race of it at the moment. Steps into the pen. Can he hang on to the pace? Has he got the fitness? He's certainly got the experience, and he'll know what to do with them. Sheep number 7 on the board. Down he goes, the long wall. Ooh, the belly's off in 3 shots. They can shortcut the blows now on these long wool sheep. Right down the first off leg. Here comes Troy Piper. Over the top comes Nathan Stratty, Angus Moore and Johnny Kirkpatrick and David Buick. You can put a blanket over those 3. Timber, in goes the young Piper.
Piper, he's running into that pen now. He's on to the crossbreds. The first of the long wool. Tony Costa's dropping into the long blow, but look at this. Watch this young boy Piper on stand number 5. Into the undermine, he's throwing the big blows. Nathan Stratford's another one. Up the neck goes Troy Piper. Tony Costa, the 3 South Islanders on stands 3, 4, 5 and 6. They are right above these other guys. Out the last leg comes Tony Costa, the doctor. Look at him, he's just shaving those sheep right out to the toenails. Angus Moore changes still for him. Johnny Kirkpatrick, watch him, here he goes. He's one of these crossbred specialists. David Buick, he is the same. Out the last leg at the front shoulder becomes Troy Piper. Look at this Dr. Costa down here on stand number 6. He's having a heck of a good time down here.
Yeah, and Angus Moore, well, I called him the smiling assassin because he's such a happy-go-lucky chap, and I reckon he's sneaking up on some of these ones that have held these, top podium spots all these years, and he's just going to sneak up and take them one at a time. And here he is in probably one of the biggest finals of his life as he spins the sheep anti-clockwise and lies it down to the world-renowned long blow, locks it up, and away he goes. Have we got any people in here that want to back Angus Moore and make some noise? Get him behind this young fella. Onto the last shoulder he goes. It's action apiece as the full wool. 12 months worth of wool goes missing off the sheep's back in about 55 seconds. Caught and Sean John.
I reckon the Buick's starting to get into overdrive now. He's realised he's at almost a sheep behind. I'm sure he picked up 3 or 4 shots on that sheep as he drives around, goes past Johnny K. Angus Moore's got number 8 on the board. Halfway Sean is Nathan Stratford down on stand number 4. Rolling round onto the money side of the sheep. Troy Piper's half a dozen shots ahead of him as he goes out over the tail and down the chute for sheep number 9. Tony Costa's number 9 on the board and he steps up the neck, under the shoulder and down and out to the flank for the 2 in the front stand, the North Island boys. They're getting left in the wake a little bit, but they're starting to fire the big shots. And now, here goes Buick. He's put a couple around Johnny K this time, and he's gaining ground on the man in the front runner down the far end. Is he good enough to pick him up over the next 5 sheep? Over the top comes Tony Costa. I think he might be starting to tire, David. Fire a couple of quick ones in. Here he comes up over the top. Here Troy Piper's chasing hard. He's into the long blow down on stand 5. Costa says, I'm changing gear now and I'm going in for my second shear. Here he comes. The Buick down into the first off shoulder or facing away. Round into the long blow. Now comes Johnny K sweeping. Nathan Stratford's hit the money side of the sheep. Troy Piper's about to step in there for another one, Tuba.
He certainly is change of steel for the Piper. But this Tony Costa, he's having a good share. He's feeling good. He reckons he's got plenty left in the tank. Up the neck he goes in the first of these big second share monsters. Nathan Stratford on stand number 3. Change of gear for him. Into the undermine works the Piper. I think the Piper might be able to pick up the Costa. He's only a smell away from him. He can smell him. Up the neck goes Troy Piper. Troy Piper, ladies and gentlemen, he's chasing hard. He wants to chase the Dr. Costa. Costa turns to the last side. He's won this event 4 times, ladies and gentlemen. He knows how to win. But I tell you what, this young Troy Piper, he's got speed to burn, Gerald.
He's got youth too, Tuma. He's got big, strong muscles. He's got a tremendous bloodline. It has longevity and endurance running right through it for generations now. And I tell you what, he's starting to call on his family lineage. Look at this, ladies and gentlemen, the Troy Piper all the way from the deep south. If you want that car, Troy will think I could cruise up D Street, the main street in Invercargill. It's as wide as this building here and it's only 1 lane. Just cruise up there with my arm out and the radio blasting. Oh yeah, I'm Troy Piper, I've won this event. It's going to be all go, up the back he goes, up the undermine, top knot off. But at this case, it's still, don't forget, it's still Tony Costa, Inky Pinky Costa we call him. Round the back of the head he goes. Stratty, once as I was saying, Stratty, you've got to be at least a sheep in front of him. Otherwise you'd call him first off. In a way, because his job is so clean. Round the back of the ears he goes. Angus Moore on sheep 10. Right out the toenail there. Don't forget Johnny K. We have had so much fun watching Johnny K for a series of years now as he's come swooping home with really big finishes. Has he still got it in the petrol tank? How mean and how lean does he look? There's not an inch of fat on this man. He's got a bit of age on his side, but he's got massive experience, and that head of his on his shoulders, and he'll be calling on every inch of that too, John.
Yeah, looks like Troy Piper's taking the bit between his teeth and he's driving down that offside. Look at him punching up to the middle of the back. Here he goes, steps forward now. He's got away from Tony. Sheep out the porthole here for the Buick man. Johnny K's got number 12 on the board. What happened here? Did he put a quick one? Here goes number 12 for David Buick up on the front stand. Angus Moore still on 11. Nathan Stratford's on 12. Come on, Angus, hang in there, mate. This is your second crack at this job. You need to keep firing and keep the job right as well. Over the shoulder, he's making a beautiful job there on stand number 3, but the Piper man's flying out the last leg. Here comes Johnny Kirkpatrick on stand number 2. He's pulled in the Tony Costa man down on stand number 6. Here, change of ampies for Moore. Steps in now, under the shoulder for Nathan Stratford. He's lost. Here comes Johnny K. He's let the brakes off. Steps into the pen. He's on the second shear sheep. Down the last side comes the Buick. Come on, put in the avgas, David. Here comes Costa. Out with another one. He's been picked off by Buick, sheep number 13. Round the back of the head comes Troy Piper. Round the crutch and down the first hind leg, and sweeping blows for Nathan Stratford. He's shearing within himself, this young fella. Look at the board up there, that'll tell you a 4.1 over 15 sheep. Round up the neck comes the Buick. Here comes Johnny K's into the long blow. He's got 7 or 8 blows to catch up with Troy Piper, and down and out to the flank for Troy Piper. Johnny K's hit the money side. Over the top he comes, 2 in the pen for these guys. Costa onto the last side as well. David Buick onto the last side as Piper changes the handpiece. Oh, come on to pick him up, Johnny K. You're going at him.
Oh, Troy Piper, he put one handpiece on, had a look. Nope, wrong handpiece, he changed it again. So here we go, we got the Johnny Kirkpatrick in the picture. Here we go, these guys. Belly comes out on stand number 5. Belly out on stand number 2. Johnny Kirkpatrick's in the house, ladies and gentlemen. He's chasing the Piper. Up the neck goes the Piper. Johnny K right there. Tony Costa, long into the underwide he goes. These guys on stands 2 and 5, Greg. Holy smokes.
Oh, they're smoking all right. They're breaking the neck wool apart, and into the base of the Acosta goes, and Troy Piper onto the last shoulder. Stratty, long blow time. How's my man Angus Moore from Kaitangata getting on? He's last shoulder time, and the Johnny K coming home, and the David Buick, ladies and gentlemen, from Pongaroa. Where are they all coming from? Have they been chucking them out the back and changing the numbers? No way. They've just been swinging as we've been telling yarns. They've been catching up. They're coming with a huge belated finish. Here we go. Stratty in for another Lambo. John, it's all go. Bring them on home.
Yeah, they're into these lambs in a big way. Look at that big lambs too, and they're making them work with the lovely shearing. Full fleece, and they're cutting like butter. Here comes it. Man, the Costa down there. He flicked the belly on sheep 15. Troy Piper's coming on to the last side. This is the last sheep for Troy, and he's well out in front again. He's got away from Johnny Kirkpatrick. Buick's picked up Kirkpatrick here on the front stand. Angus Moore still got one in the pen, but it's Troy Piper down the last side. Sweeping blows, 2 shots to go. Whoa! 1837 or thereabouts is under the shoulder. Here comes JK. Here comes the Buick. Here comes the Costa.
There, the old Troy Piper, he turned around. Yeah, baby, I got this. David Buick, Johnny Kirkpatrick, Nathan Stratford, ladies and gentlemen.
Wow.
Dr. Costa, ladies and gentlemen, stand number 6.
Wow. Tuma, where did David Buick and Johnny K come from? We had our focus down the way there, and we thought it was all happening, and we only got just sort of a bit of a distraction, and they just come out of the blue. Obviously, there's people in the audience who are keeping an eye on them and encouraging them because something happened. They hit the afterburners.
I think that those guys were loving it because they knew where these fellas were, so they all they had to concentrate on was just trying to fill up their comb and take it home. But here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Bring this young man home. Angus Moore, he's won this event before. There's no reason why he can't win it again.
A brilliant,
well done, Angus.
Brilliant effort. Well done.
Smiling.
You great athletes. Another round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Awesome stuff here in the multi-breeds, sponsored by PGG Wrightson. We're going to go upstairs to the TAB big screen. Come in, Karen.
We're nervous here at the TAB because, of course, it was David Buick and John Kirkpatrick who are the worst results in the PGG Wrightson National Circuit. We're going to have to wait and see who wins, but if they happen to take out the title, punters are going to be very happy. And they will be very happy as well in the test that's coming up in about half an hour. New Zealand are the outsiders at $2.40, Australia $1.50. The Aussies are going for 6 in a row, but plenty of punters are going on New Zealand at that $2.40 price. So if that comes off later in the night, it looks like it could possibly be a great payday for punters after only 2 events. Straight back to you, Gerald. Let's get into the next show.
Wow, Tuma.
Well, that was a beauty, wasn't it, ladies and gentlemen? Those PGG Wrightsons guys sharing every breed that we have got in New Zealand. Well, not every breed. There's a few funny ones floating around. But our next event is the Tui Invitational. The Tui Invitational started here, I think, about 5 years ago. Digger Balm was a great ambassador for it, but he didn't make it this time, so we need to find a new one.
Yeah, that's right, Tuma. It's the chief referee goes through, and any of these up-and-coming shearers, they think that would really, get some massive it's an encouragement award, okay, to give them exposure here at the Golden Shears. So it's very hard to become match fit when you hit these big finals like this unless you get exposed to them. It's a bit like playing friendly netball games or friendly rugby games. You're not match fit till the match arrives. So this is one way we can do it, and here they go, Tuma. So I think we're right to go. The steps are out, the fedges are changed. Everything is pretty good. The shearers are standing there, so we'll start down here on this TUI sponsored event. The encouragement. Here we go. If he needs any more